Here we are now looking at how the story of Jesus moves on, and we've got the baptism of Christ by John the Baptist. We've got 3 panels that tell different bits of that story, and the common theme in all of them is actually the presence of John the Baptist. So first of all, on the left, we've got John the Baptist in the wilderness, and there's a real sense that he's in a rocky, barren place, and there's something that looks a bit like a lion or some kind of wild animal down in the foreground, and he's there proclaiming. Then in the middle, you've got John baptizing Jesus, and John is on dry land, Jesus is standing in the water, and as John pours water onto the head of Jesus, so a bit above them, there's the dove that features in the story. And then in the third window, Jesus is walking away, and John is in the foreground with his followers and disciples and is pointing to Jesus. So there's this real sense that the messenger is now saying, there's the one you should follow.
The scripture relating to this, we've just chosen Matthew chapter 3, verse 16. And when Jesus had been baptized, just as he came up from the water, suddenly the heavens were opened to him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting on him. And a voice from heaven said, "This is my Son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased."
It's we commented on the fact that in a way it's one of the lightest windows. Because it's actually got quite a lot of clear glass in it. So you get a real sense, perhaps, of the heat of the day.
And the words above at the very top of the window are talking about the day, parts of the day, praising the Lord. It's very, very bright, actually. On the left panel, the daylight is so bright that it's reflecting off the rocks and the stones. Yeah. And John, actually, interestingly, is quite pale in that left panel.
He is.
Very much sort of making way for Jesus to come.
Yeah, he really is. It's a panel about people watching as well. So as John is baptizing Jesus, in the background there's people
passing by.
People passing by. And there's actually a Roman army marching in the background. So there's a bit of even that sense that this is happening in an occupied place. Yeah. Here's this sort of strange religious thing going on in the midst of a military occupation. And then again, in the right-hand window, again, there's a real sense of the crowd watching Jesus walk away as John points to him. So quite this strong sense of, I suppose, John bearing witness.
Yes. Yeah, pointing the way. It's interesting in that final panel that Jesus is very, very pale as well, similar to John the Baptist in the first one, but almost blending in with the daylight.
Yes, yeah, he really is. Yes. And he's quite serene. I mean, whereas very John is incredibly active.
Yes, he's waving his hand in the air, isn't he?
Jesus is very calmly,
very sedately
walking away.
It's a very active pose that John the Baptist has in that left panel.
Yeah. And it's kind of that sense of power and energy.
And proclamation.
But then also somehow around Jesus there's a sense of stillness.
Yeah, and peace.